This was very good for optics, visibility, but is there, or maybe if one of those average creatives is here, please come back and let me know, like how just that average guy. I'm not talking about these big people who can get
music. We keep struggling to try to push Kenyan music in whatever capacity, urban tone or whatever. But Kenyan movies, it's only maybe we'll hear somewhere here, we'll hear something here, movies on Netflix, maybe here, whatever. But when you go home on the ground, hata ukifungua TV, 7 o'clock news, or before career, how much content locally on Citizen or whatever are you gonna see? How much are you gonna see Kenyan content playing?
Telenovela.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you looked at this thing as a Kenyan, from a Kenyan perspective, it was good for the country. The questions that I would have is there anything that's going to come out of this? And I think that's a skepticism that we always have as Kenyans. And as we have seen in prior times, it always turns out badly. Back to you, studio.
And, to add to what Omosh is talking about, skepticism, in as much as you're doing this, trying to woo, you're doing Tyler Perry Studios, Tyler Perry Studios, you're trying to, you're bringing all this. But at home, when we look at home, what have you done to really, not structure, but to anchor the industry?
The industry, yeah.
What have you done to really make the industry thrive? What have you done to open up the possibilities for upcoming producers, for upcoming writers, directors, screenwriters, movie scripts, whatever? Because just the other day, we heard of, you were saying a proposal in the bill. Okay, not even proposal, guys who are creating content in Nairobi being surcharged.
Yeah.
And that is just one. You remember when this guy, not Alfred, this guy who was the board chairman or whatever, was going around banning movies, or what's his name? He's now the chairman. Mutua.
Yeah.
What has been done at home that we can say this visit here is going to bridge a lot? What has, because I'm not sure. And by the way, what I would like to hear is not the people who you could say have already made it, not the people who are already bona fide, let's say, actors or whatever in Kenya, right? It would be nice to hear from them what has been done in the 254 in Kenya to really nurture the industry. What has really been done? So that we can say, okay, this makes sense. But also, if that is the case, you don't need the president to go there. What you need is the CS of who?
The CS.
The CS, a cabinet secretary, whatever.
In charge of culture.
Or something like that. Yes.
Or the creatives.
The
one in charge of arts.
Yeah, that one. You send that person there.
Yeah, send a Babu Namwamba there.
Or go with a Babu Namwamba. Was he there?
But, Uno.
Yes.
I want to say what Omosh said here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. But it's also not such a bad look, because for me, it gives these people who are in that industry, it gave them a platform for them where they look at it this way, right? We had people from Kenya and people from here who are in the industry here, and then they were in an environment which is successful with the president there, and gave them a way to start a conversation and telling him that this is what we want back home. And all this is a continuous conversation. It's been 2 weeks since the guy left. We cannot start seeing the fruits right now. What we want to see is that how do you continuously do this conversation? The people who attended, with your peers who did not attend? How do you continue bridging up this conversation, this access that you got with the president through this that's coming through? So let's say Steve Harvey comes in. How are you going to leverage that to be able to continue this conversation to help yourselves back home? Because the thing is this, politicians will give you lip service for a month and go. But if you can be able to hold that conversation open, that gate, and continue talking to them, it's a way to open for them. So I don't think it's such a waste that way. They already have that in. Now it's how they use that in to help themselves that also matters.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I hear your point, Mika.
let me jump in real quick, Ali. So, to the point, what Mikasi is saying is, for instance, there's a lady who I know and I had a conversation with, and was able to actually fly in from Phoenix, Arizona, to come into the diaspora meet that the president was having, and got an opportunity to ask a question. And the question she was asking was, how is it that I can partner with Safaricom to help my students who are ICT students get internships and potential jumpstart, so that when they hit the industry, or when they're industry ready, they could get jobs easier. And by her students, she means her students in Kenya. And so the president said, oh, by the way, the Safaricom CEO is here. And boom, she was put in touch with a guy, and now they're collaborating off of this chance, that she took to fly from Arizona. So it is possible for some of these things to happen from a networking perspective. And I also got a chance to talk to the Safaricom CEO, and he was very willing to have conversations and talk. And I think that just being in that environment, or them having met you here in the diaspora, they don't take you as quote unquote a joke. It's not the same as them meeting you in Kenya. I don't know if that makes sense. So back to what Mika was saying, the whole networking and the linkage, it goes a long way for them to meet you here in the diaspora, because that's actually what they came in, quote unquote, to do. And if they can make linkages with those of us who are here in the diaspora who are doing something, then it's beneficial to their company as well as to you. Back to studio.
So I hear you, Omosh, and I hear what Mika said. But here's my overall worry, because I'm the type of guy who likes looking at the bigger picture. So are there individuals who will benefit from this trip and from these interactions that were had there? Yes.
Yeah, Ali,
definitely yes.
So let me talk something about the Tech Expo. And I'll talk about the benefits.
No. But before we go to the Tech Expo,
this is something that
before we go to the Tech Expo, let me just make this one point, Mick, and then I'm gonna go back to you. My worry with even the way we are framing these conversations, there are individuals who are gonna benefit. There's a few people who are gonna benefit, but I'm looking at this at the bigger picture. Like the average creatives that we know, like some of them who work for us, for example, like even editing our videos and everything, who just the average creatives out there, is there any benefit? Because these top people who, based on networking, are they going to benefit? Yes. But 3, 4, 5 years from now, is there any direction that an average person who's doing this work, which is the middle 90%, see how they're going to benefit? I have a very skeptical answer, and the honest answer is no. So this was very good for optics, visibility, but is there, or maybe if one of those average creatives is here, please come back and let me know, like how just that average guy. I'm not talking about these big people who can get into a deal with a Safaricom executive and that kind of stuff. Those ones are gonna benefit. There's no doubt about it.
Butita is benefiting.
Butita will benefit,
no doubt.
But we're talking about like that average person. These people who are hungry, these hustlers, who we are trying to get them from where they are to the next level. Mika,
we can look at our local MAGA guy.
and then and that is what I said. remember what I said. I said as long as this conversation is continued to be had intentionally and honestly, it will open up to these other people because Butita doesn't do stuff by himself. Butita works with Kina Jagush, Kina Phil, Kina Abelmutua, right? Abelmutua, Kina Phil, they do little guy productions. From if you look at their films, they act with upcoming and season names. So as long as there's that continuation and there's this opening and they stick to what they spoke about, Ali, you're going to see it. That's why I said it's a continuous thing. It's supposed to be open and going. Now, the issue is if somewhere down the line it stops, then the trip will be a waste. All this networking that has been made will be a waste, right? So I wouldn't just be too quick to cut it out and say it no. I would say kwa watu wa Moshi walikuwa wanasema walikuwa 200 people huko ndani, maybe 110 of them walikuwa hapo ndani juu ya vibes. But if the 90 who are there because they were there for serious business continue with what took them there, those are 90 clear pathways for open talent to thrive that were not there. That's how I look at it.
But let me say this. I mean, okay, here's the thing. I'm not arguing against what Mika is saying and what Omosh is saying, but I'm supporting you. But again, for me, kwa grao on the ground, in order for this thing to have happened, my concern and my question is very simple. And I don't know. I would need somebody who is a producer, actor, director, lighting, key grip, video editor, sound.
So let me give you an example.
No, wait. Mika, let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Yeah.
When I look at that, I'm looking at that situation, that environment. Iyo situation home. Is it nurtured and good enough such that our content or the content that they produce we consume? Because how much Kenyan content do we consume? Let us just say, how much Kenyan content do we consume? Even while in Kenya, on the ground. Apart from signing up for Zuku or Showmax.
Yeah.
To find that, what local content are we seeing on Citizen or NTV or KK24?
On the major networks.
On the major networks. Yeah. Forget subscriptions. How much content that is produced locally
is being consumed
locally,
or even being played in local movie theaters.
Exactly. Yeah. How much? Because that is where it begins. Because if that is the case, then I would question, what my question would be, if we have a very good, thriving, guys are eating, feeding their families, building wealth or whatever, how you want to look at it, but you can thrive in that environment, then these guys would be coming to us to do something. We don't have to go to them, but we are going to them, but we are not taking care of home. Have we taken care of home? How much content do we produce? We don't even have to go far. Music. We keep struggling to try to push Kenyan music in whatever capacity, urban tone or whatever. But Kenyan movies, it's only maybe we'll hear somewhere here, we'll hear something here, movies on Netflix, maybe here, whatever. But when you go home on the ground, at ukifungua TV, 7 o'clock news, or before career, how much content locally on Citizen or whatever are you going to see? How much are you going to see Kenyan content playing?
Telenovela.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, again, I understand it's a big platform. And I agree, it is good exposure. It is awesome that we are doing this. But nyumbani, tumefanya nini to bring up? It's like you go and you go and see somebody's child, or you're trying to go and do something in somebody's child. Lakini nyumbani mtoto wako unamwabando unamfanyia madhara dhanio. That is my thinking process.
Okay.